Hello, welcome back. Sorry, oh my god, my McDonald's Diet Coke. Please, God, help me. Welcome back to the Ide Hour. I apologize for being who I am, for being chronically absent, and yeah, but here I am. Okay, here I am. Once again, it's midnight. We've waited till the end of the night to get into the studio, which is not good. Not good. I acknowledge that. But I'm here. You know, I showed up, okay? I showed up, and that's more than what most people can say. I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know, I'm in the middle of nowhere, New England, and it's a bit bizarre, this small town life. You know, I'm here for a good reason. Like it's obviously like I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a good reason, but it's rough, you know. I got to be real with you guys. And I like New England a lot. I think Boston is awesome. It's so cool. I love Boston. It's like a clean, kind of quiet, more subdued New York. And it has its own identity. I don't want to just compare it to New York. But that's, you know, for East Coast, that's really what I'm familiar with is New York City. So that's naturally going to be my my point of reference. But, you know, I'm just going so insane here. You know, I bought crystals. I'm not a crystals person, which is ironic because I lived in LA for like years, and now I'm buying crystals to like speak to spirits or something. So it's just different out here, you know, and it's really now finally starting to get on my last nerves because of what is this sound? Oh, sorry, it's the wire. It's finally starting to get on my last nerves because the summer's over and it started snowing today randomly. And I know that that's coming. I know that the winter is no joke up here, but it's scary, dude. It's a little scary. And I know many of you probably live in New England or like the Northeast, or I think some people even live in Canada. They'll listen to me, which is cool. But it's like, how do you guys do it? How do you guys? I don't want to go outside. Not that there's anywhere to go. Not that there's anywhere to go in New England. I mean, God, I know in New England there is, but not where I am in particular. It's just like one long road. And, you know, it's beautiful. I'm close to the water and stuff, but it is just, it's bleak. You know, in the summer, it's lovely. Okay. A little humid for my taste, to be honest with you. The summers can be a little gross too, a little buggy. But it's nice. It's a destination. You know, people come here in the summer. But the winters are brutal. And I haven't even been here for a winter yet. I wasn't planning on staying for the winter. In fact, I might not. I think I might leave before that happens. But I'm also like settled. You know, I don't really want to like get up, pack up, go. But I suppose I have to. I have to go see my family in Texas and stuff. And but it's just brutal out here, man. I mean, I bought like a mushroom shaped. Look at my crystals. I bought a heart. I got this, and then I got what else? Oh, I like this one. What is this? Like quartz. I'm going insane. Okay, like I'm buying crystals. This one's really cool, actually. Can you believe this is like a real color? Like, do you see that shine? Tell me rocks aren't aliens. Do you know what I mean? Look, do you see that? Do you see the dimension? That like alien, like greenish, purplish. You would think it's painted. I'll show it up close little on the camera a little later, but maybe I should turn up the lights in here. I should have a lot to say about this part of the country. And everyone's just like assumed that I'm in Texas, but I'm not. Hello, not what I was trying to do. Oh, it messed with both of my lights at the same time. Okay. Hmm. Okay, no, that's a little too bright. I gotta mess around with the lighting. I bought these like cool little fixtures that I can take anywhere with me, so that's cool. Nice. Okay, I like that. Is that nice? That's kind of a nice orangey glow. So yeah, so I mean that explains why I have this McDonald's. Like, I mean, when I'm in Dallas or LA or New York or anywhere else, it's like I'm not going to McDonald's because there's so many options or so much. Not that McDonald's doesn't slap, because it does in a pinch. Okay, in a pinch, McDonald's is just, yeah, Bon Apple tea. The French fries at McDonald's, they're the best fries in the world. I think that's undisputed. I don't think that there's anybody that's coming close. It just really messes with my setup. Do you see all the pumpkins I've put out here? Do you see? Okay. See how womanly I've been? Because God knows there's nothing else to do out here. The rural life is not for me. Okay. And I hate to be this person. You know, first of all, I'm the only person with like any melanin in them around here. So like, I just don't think ancestrally in my DNA, I'm meant to survive in these frigid subarctic climates. I don't think I'm cut out for it. Going outside is scary. It's scary. And I don't mean to be dramatic, but it's really jarring even just stepping outside, because during the day sometimes it'll be okay, right? It'll be rough, but but it'll be okay because the sun's out, you know, whatever. But when it starts to like get a little dark, which by the way, it gets dark at fucking 4 p.m. What is this shit? What is this shit? You see why people go insane out here. You see why they get depressed and they have this trauma response where they're like, oh no, I like the seasons. I like them. The seasons are nice. You get all cozy. I'm like, oh, cozy is just another word for like depressed, I think. I like coziness, you know. I would always like to simulate a cozy ambiance type vibe in LA or Dallas or wherever I am. But, you know, the friends I have out here are few and far between, and the pumpkins are my company. That's the company I keep. My crystals and my pumpkins. There's no events. You know, there's LA had events. Okay, you could go to like events. And you might scoff at that, okay? And that's fair. But as a woman, okay, it's nice. It's nice to go to a thing and there's like a stupid mushroom company that's sponsoring it and you get to like put a few in your bag and like, you know, you get to just like sip on something and some douchebag with a bunch of, you know, I don't know, clout walks in and you're just kind of like, I don't know. That's kind of that has its own malaise to it as well. But it's something that's happening. Whereas like here, it's, you know, the closest Nordstrom is about 3 hours away. And I just don't know how to reconcile that with who I am. And I thought I was like trying to like, I thought I was like about to enter this new like rugged era of my life and I could like tough it out. And I had all these preconceived notions about what it is that I can and can't handle. And you know, I was so tired I wasn't even gonna record. And then I just started recording and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just give you guys a little bit of a life update, okay? I've been live streaming too. Make sure to come on over to the live stream. I did record the other day an episode, but I think I just ended up talking a bunch of shit about people that I shouldn't have been talking shit about. So I'll paywall that. I'll put that on the Patreon. You guys can go listen to that there, so I don't burn even more bridges on YouTube. So we'll just keep it. We'll keep it a buck, and we'll just talk about the frigid, absolute, bleak nightmare that the Northeast is. And I say that with love, okay? I say that with love. And I hope you guys know that I love the Northeast. That's why I chose to come up here. That's why I decided to climb Everest and come up here. But okay, but check this out. The sun starts going down at 3:30 p.m. Okay. And it's like, I'm a night owl. I like staying up. I'm trying to fix that. It's rough, but I'm trying. But even if you do fix that and you get up early, the sun is still going down at 4 p.m. That's objectively depressing. Okay. The closest target is 30 minutes away. And to these people, like where I am right now, they're like, oh, this isn't the middle of nowhere. There's a Target over there. There's a Walmart 25, 30 minutes from you. And I'm like, yeah, that's nowhere's land to me. That's off the grid to me. And to these people, it's like, you're only off the grid if you're like up in the woods with nobody around for miles and miles. And I'm like, well, that's a death wish. I don't think that's rural. I think that's a masochistic move. And I think it's like something that people do for like YouTube channels, like the Outdoor Boys or like RIP. I don't know if they're back, but people that like go in their cars and they like want to be in an abandoned area. And it's like, you bring Starlink with you or whatever. But to live in that kind of environment, and it's so funny because I'm in a really beautiful part of the country, like nature wise, it's gorgeous, but it's lost on me because I'm so used to modern life. I'm so used to having like my pick of targets. And although that's depressing too, because you look around and it's like, what is your city? In Dallas, it's a bunch of like shitty strip malls. And that's depressing because it's like a corporate hellscape and it's just like a flat wasteland and there's no landscape to look at. There's no hills, there's no mountains. On the contrary, LA is beautiful, right? It's stunning. I miss LA so much. I really miss Los Angeles. I'm getting like an itch, it's like I thought I'd be fine. And I'm thinking of, New York, moving to New York, maybe, I don't know. But I miss LA a lot. I really miss LA a lot. And it's just hard being away from a place that is that great. You wake up, it's sunny. Right now, the weather in LA, can we just describe to you, like it's, and I know you guys want to shit on LA and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's awesome. Stop. Okay, it rules. It's 62 degrees right now in Los Angeles. The high was 75 today. Today where I am right now, okay, bumfuck nowhere, New England, the temperature dropped like 10 degrees overnight, which happens in Texas, by the way, sometimes. Like the temperature will fluctuate and sometimes it'll be really low and it'll be really high and it'll like change all the time, but it doesn't really go below a certain, like right now in Dallas, and I'm sorry if it's boring to you guys, but it's really the thing that's controlling my life at the moment. So this is, it's my fucking show. In Dallas, it's 58, okay? The high this week in Dallas is 82 all week. It's 58. That's fine. For November, that rules. It's like a crisp night. It's really nice right now weather-wise in Texas right now. And here it was okay like a week ago, right? Or it was kind of getting cold. But the thing that sucks, this is like my one thing about this part of town, is like there's no in-between period, right? You have like a scorching hot summer. It's really, really bad, right? It can be nice some days, but it's fucking hot and it's humid as hell, right? And then fall hits you and it's pretty, right? Because the leaves are changing, and in New England, when the leaves are changing, it's absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. It's like a fall dreamscape, it's beautiful. And I tried to, match that vibe with the setup today. But it's just so stunning. The leaves are falling and it's nice and everything's red and orange. And, like it looks like the Hocus Pocus house, like from Salem, Massachusetts. And it's really pretty, but then that's only like a couple weeks, right? Or a few weeks. And then it just switches over dramatically to like this immediate cold. And it feels uninhabitable. It feels like this part of the country doesn't want you to live in it. People have like snow plows and shit out here. People pay like thousands of dollars for someone to plow their snow. Like, I don't know if they have a machine that does it, or I don't know if like an individual person is going to come plow, but the shit costs money. All right. It's not cheap to get your snow plow. Some people are plowing themselves. And, You know, the closest Whole Foods is like 45 minutes away from me. And in the summer, sometimes they deliver, but there's no Ubers out here. There's no Uber Eats. Not that I ever ordered that. I think like the service fees are a scam. There's just literally nothing out here. If you want like a treat, like there's no Chipotle. Okay. There's no Sweetgreen. And I sound like a douchebag. Like I know how I sound. I know this isn't attractive and I know it's not respectable, right? But it's my lived experience. It's my reality. Like if I want to eat, but I don't want to cook, which is all the time, okay, then I go to a Sweetgreen or a Chipotle or a Cava and I try to have like a healthy, fast, casual meal. And I try to make my bowl really healthy and I can even order ahead. And I'm sorry to be one of these people that like prioritizes convenience, but in this modern world, what else can we have? We can't have houses. You know, I can't buy a house, right? Having a baby is a luxury. So it's like, let me have my Sweetgreen bowl or whatever. And none of that exists out here. Everyone out here is like 80 years old, which also blows my mind because there's no hospitals. Now, the people I'm with here, they're like telling me, they're like, no, there is a hospital. I'm like, yeah, it's like a baby hospital. It's like a 24-hour emergency room. So like, I guess it counts. That's not like Boston Mass General. Which is like a level 1 trauma center, like one of the most famous hospitals in the world. And it's like, yeah, I'm not sick, thank God, knock on wood, but you never know what's going to happen, especially in this area. Like I'm in the elements right now. Like we are in the elements. It's about to get so fucking cold. It's going to look like I'm in one of those videos where like I'm camping outside with my dog inside my van and I'm like setting up a fire so that I can like make my sloppy Joe sandwich in the snow. You know, you're supposed to see that shit on YouTube. You're not supposed to live it. And I understand that I'm in a house and stuff, but let me tell you guys, it's not easy out here. There's nobody my age. There's no infrastructure. There's not even lights on the road to like get you from point A to point B because it's like too expensive or something. I don't understand. And there's like several rich people that live here, but they don't have like street lights. They don't have like basic street lights, which is it's obscene. And I think I might have like astigmatism or something because at night driving, it's getting a little rough for me. And I've always had good vision. I've always had 20/20 vision. So I don't understand what's going on with that. But like at night, and actually I've dealt with this for a while, when the cars that are like, I have no problem driving at night, but well, sometimes I do, but for the most part, I'm fine. If I'm in the left lane on a freeway or a highway, the cars coming the opposite direction of me, sometimes their lights are extremely bright to the point where they kind of blind me. And I think that that's because the newer cars, they just make these headlights so blinding. But I also think that there might be something wrong with me because I don't see other people dealing with that issue. Whereas it's like really hard for me sometimes to see what the fuck is going on. And that's happened sporadically throughout the last like 5 or 6 years, but my like daytime vision's great. I've never had an issue with my vision in the day, and my nighttime vision is fine too. But if I'm driving, that can be a bit, I don't see the whiskers, you know, but I see like it's blinding. So I have to get that checked out. But it doesn't help that there's no street lights out here. And okay, another grievance. It's so beautiful out here, right? But all of the wiring, like the power lines and stuff, they're above ground, which I know is a thing in like LA and the east side of LA, the older parts like Los Feliz, Echo Park, Silver Lake. I think maybe even approaching downtown LA. And LA is such a beautiful place. It's like all of those should be underground, but we know there's a lot of corruption and issues in LA. Now on the west side of LA, all of the power lines are below. And in LA, it's especially important not to have that because the transformers explode and they're like hovering next to trees, and then those trees can catch fire, and then boom, you have another Pasadena fire or whatever it is. And that's pretty dangerous. So there should actually be a lot of money invested in LA to put those power lines underground, which is something you can do. In Dallas, it's all underground. You don't see power lines, which is ironic because Dallas is so ugly. It wouldn't even matter if the power lines were up, but they're not. They're down where they should be, out of our fucking face, not obstructing our view. In LA, I had like this beautiful view of downtown LA, and then it was obstructed by just like this power line. Really annoying. And, you know, it's a shame when you're in a really pretty part. Now, this is also a really pretty part of the country, but it's hard to appreciate because you can't go outside unless you're, and I see these people go outside. They're insane, but they have like no issue with it. They think it's fine. Like sometimes they don't even wear jackets like in like November. It's bizarre. I think they're Irish though. They're mostly Irish out here. So I'm close to Boston. But it's about like an hour and a half away. You know, it's not super close. Maybe like give or take. It might be 2 hours. I don't know. It's not close. It's not close enough. There's a lot of Irish people. There's a lot of like fishermen and stuff. And that's nice. But it's brutal. The winters are brutal. Everything kind of shuts down. It becomes a little bit of a ghost town. Everyone leaves to Florida. You know, everyone goes to Florida and it's like, I went my whole life without thinking about Florida. Here, it's like Florida is such a point of contention. There's like liberal people, there's very, very right-wing people, and they all have like an opinion about Florida. And I guess everyone kind of has an opinion on Florida, but I just don't really care about Florida because I was always in California. I was like, yeah, I don't need to be in another humid hellscape. But to them, they'll take any level of warmth, right? So they don't care about humidity. Whereas like I'm very spoiled. It's like, well, I don't want my hair to get frizzy and I don't want my face to melt off. And Florida is just like, it's uncomfortable. Texas was very humid. I didn't like it. So I was like, okay, LA's got the best weather in the world. And you become so spoiled when you live there, you forget that that's not the way it is everywhere else. So much so that you kind of almost envy them. You're like, oh, it's like fall weather. It's Christmas. Like I wish it was a little Christmassy. I wish it was a little cold, you know, for like as a vibe, like you want that vibe, right? I know grass is always greener, but like, I don't agree with that anymore. Now that I'm here in the vibe, it's nice for like a month, right? But it's like, I'm scared for what's to come. I'm scared because every day the temperature just drops dramatically and it rains all the time and it's kind of just scary. And I'm not cut out for it, really. I'm really not cut out for it. And I respect the people that can put up with this shit, like these Carhartt wearing, like, you know, bootstrappy men. But I am not this girl. Like, give me LA, give me Miami, give me like anything. Give me any city, really. Give me any city with, and I hate to say this, like some convenient corporations, which I shit on, you know, all the time. And now I realize like you kind of need that stuff. There's not even like banks and stuff out here, you know? I'm gonna put on an ambiance video. It's pretty, you know, I'll give him that. By the way, I've been live streaming more. So I don't really announce when I'm doing it. I just kind of do it. So maybe turn on the notification things for me. So if I live stream, you can just show up and hang out with me. God knows I have nothing else to do out here other than, I mean, there's no human beings really to interact with. There's a lot of deer. I see a lot of deer. I see some wild turkeys. I see groundhogs. I love the groundhogs. They're my absolute favorite. The deer are super cute too. I hear there's bears, so that's kind of exciting. I do love bears. It would be nice to see a bear. That would make everything a little bit more fun. What else is I going to talk about? Oh, Love on the Spectrum, my new favorite Netflix show. Fantastic show. Ugh, I have a lot to talk about with that actually. So wait, let's do an ambiance. I don't want to cover up my pumpkin though. Yeah, so how have you guys been? It's annoying because like I've wanted to talk about this for a while. Also nobody has a gas stove out here. It's like, who wants to cook on an electric stove? Not me. I like to cook in LA. I had like this beautiful 1940s American O'Keefe stove, white, really pretty, like gas stove. Ugh, so nice. You need fire to cook. When there's no fire, it just makes the experience less enjoyable overall. That's what I find to be the case, but it's just me.
Kardashians there, but every MUA you can think of was there. Patrick Tar, Patrick Stat, Mary Phillips, Ariel, and Etienne. It was just like the room of people was so fucking iconic. Alexis Oakley was there. Hailey Bieber, like the list just goes on. I've never been in a room like this. And did I feel like I deserved to be in this room? I'm trying to tell myself that, yeah, I fucking do deserve to be in this room. I cannot believe I met Kim fucking Kardashian. I don't talk about it much, but she's my fucking idol, okay? Kim, Chloe, Chris, how the fuck is this? So I went luxury shopping and completely blacked out. Stuff I got from Louis Vuitton is literally so good. Like, I can't even tell you how good
This is who I really am.
That based on that, NRA guns equals blah blah blah. If you don't own a gun, you're a pussy. And I'm
not even really sure why I'm talking to you.
Why not?
Because it happened.
We're on our way to the airport.
Put the cuffs. Okay. All right, that's gonna do it for me tonight.
Evan Dude wants that $20. Imagine the taste of Candace Owens chocolate.
Okay. AI-powered smart cities on the blockchain and give everybody a token. What even is this? Like, we live in hell. What can you even say about this plan? These are human beings. Like, these are human beings with lives. Like you and I. They were born there. We were born here. We were born here, and so we get to go to school and ride the school bus and have Christmas parties and go to Disney World. They were born there, so they know nothing other than hunger and thirst and death and explosions and airstrikes and being shot in the face and disabled. And this administration's making it into basically a joke. We're going to turn it into a game show. Now these beleaguered people that are officially being starved to death and genocided, 107 people dead in the past 24 hours from hunger, we're going to give them digital tokens on the blockchain in exchange for their territory, and then we're going to kick them out and send them to Somalia. What the fuck is this? This is evil. So they're going to...
Yeah, you guys like want to shit on me for listening to a podcast that's like good, that says stuff like that. All right. Hey Reddit. What's the issue with that sentiment? So, I'm back. Took a little food break. So, where was I? Oh yeah, New England. It's a nice place. I like the people, They're very sweet. They're very kind. It is hard though to be in an environment where it's uninhabitable or approaching that. Like, it's just it's very cold. There's nothing to do. There's nobody my age. Everyone's old. And I like old people, but it's like they go to bed at 8 p.m. and I don't have a ton in common with them. And, I'm kind of expected to go to bed at like 8 p.m. here too. And I just feel like that kind of sucks the life out of me a little bit. I don't want to go to bed at 8 p.m. I don't want to wake up with the sun. And maybe that's an issue that like I have, but I guess I should want to wake up with the sun. But here's the thing. It's like all my friends are in LA and they're awake. And when I want to talk to them, they're asleep. Or I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be asleep when they're awake and free to talk to me. And it's not that I need to like sit around and talk to my friends all day, but it's like, what is there to do out here? It's bleak. It's really bleak. And the standard of living is not as high. There are nice places. There are nice things to do for sure. And granted, there are some metropolitan areas nearby, but middle of nowhere New England is, especially in the middle of winter, I didn't quite realize, being from Dallas or living in Los Angeles, that this is something people dealt with. Like this cold, bleak, lonely, depressing winter that just brutalizes you. The second you walk outside, people are talking about black ice, okay? When they kept saying it at first, I thought they meant black eyes. They're like, black eyes, black ice. I'm like, black eyes? I was like, I didn't even see any black guys around here, first of all. I was like, why is everyone so scared of black guys? I was like, why is everyone so racist? Some of them are. But they're talking about black ice, like on the streets, like you fishtail your car. Just, and it's really scary. And, people die and stuff. And it's frigid and it's painful. And your skin gets really dry. And you just kind of have to be inside all the time. You cannot leave your house, which, aren't we isolated enough in this era where it's like everyone's on their phone all the time and all of our relationships are online and people don't even like go outside in the first place? It's like, well, shouldn't we be incentivized to go outside? How the fuck do people live out here year round? It's abominable. And I'm sorry, I respect the people that can do it, but how are you going to raise a family out here? How can you take your kids outside? Aren't they cold? Aren't they freezing to death? It's just depressing, man, because it's like, I don't know that I can stomach it for the winter. I think I might gotta go. I might gotta out. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna have to happen. I can't handle this, but I also want to see if I can handle it. Do you know what I mean? But I also don't want to wait till it's like January or December and then I leave and it's so fucking cold. I have to drive so far to get to the airport. I have to drive so far to get to the airport. Boston Airport is like not nearby. Okay? It's a drive. Everything is a drive. And people out here, like, they talk about it like it's not a big deal. I'll be like, oh, I don't know. I'll be talking to my water guy. That's who I talk to, by the way, the guy that delivers my water. The guy that works for Poland Springs, and he's lovely. And I talk to him and he's just kind of like, he drives like an hour to get to work every day. In LA, the east side of town doesn't even go to the west side. It's like you might as well be in Shanghai to cross over from like, I don't know, Los Feliz to Santa Monica. Never the two shall meet. It doesn't ever happen. They never cross paths. Here, it is routine for people to drive an hour each way to work every day. That's practically a road trip, dude. To me, it's kind of like not really valuing your time. Not that I'm so good with my time, but I mean, if you're willing to spend most of your day commuting, especially in these insane conditions, right? Like in the elements, like in the cold, in the snow, in the ice, it's dark outside, there's no street lights, there's bears and stuff, there's deer. People hit deers crossing the road. Shit is like not normal out here, okay? It's wild. It's like you're in a wild environment. You're in the woods, dude. And they don't even look at it as the woods. They're like, no, you gotta go really far up north to get to the woods. I'm like, then what the fuck is this? What is this? But to them, this is like nothing. And to me, it's a challenge to say the least. And they really enjoy Halloween, and I get it. It's like Halloween is their biggest export around here. Oh, my candle went out. It's kind of prophetic, right? Ow. Fucking hot. Just play with my crystals. I just like to touch it and hold it. It makes me feel good. I don't know, dude. It's just kind of depressing because I want to stay. I like it here on some level, and I want to see if I can handle a winter. And I don't really know where I'm at in my life at the moment, and I have reasons that I really want to stay. But at the same time, I mean, look at me. I'm not cut out for this. I'm like olive skin. I am olive. Do you know what I mean? I'm Persian. Like Iranian people, like as a people, we have seasons in Iran and stuff, but I don't think like ancestrally, like my DNA, I don't think is cut out for this. I just don't think it's cut out for this. And so, you know, I just have to like think about how much longer I can really stomach this kind of weather. I do want to go to New York. I want to see New York. Everything's so expensive though. It's so expensive to do anything. And like, it's hard to figure out what anything really means. You just kind of got to take it a day at a time and not get overwhelmed and like not think about the next month. And all you have to have is faith, I guess, that everything's going to work out. And you just have to kind of ride on that. What else do we really have? You just kind of have to trust and believe. You have to just hope that things are going to be good. And yeah. I mean, it's not even working anymore anyway, so might as well put the laptop down. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. But, yeah, how you guys doing? Do you like my pumpkin? I love my pumpkin. I can get some females around here. I gotta like figure out what Taylor Swift's ring size is so that I can talk about that on the podcast and get all the girlies in here, all the girly pops. Ooh, did you hear about Taylor and Travis's wedding? For real? No. I don't care. I'm happy that she's happy. I don't have a parasocial relationship with Taylor Swift, so yeah, I'm a little at a loss because like I don't really know where I live at the moment. I don't know where I'm scared for the winter. I'm scared about what it's gonna bring out at me. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know how I'm gonna be, how I'm gonna act when it hurts to go outside. On one hand, I really want to see it through, like see if I can make it out here for a winter, like deal with it. I already have my setup out here for the podcast. Like I could really just hunker down, commit, and do it. On the other hand, it's like, what is the winter going to bring? What is the winter really going to bring? Am I ready for that? Am I prepared for that reality? So I don't want to speak too badly. I mean, I like the area. I do. I just don't know how people live out here without infrastructure. I don't know how people deal with just one grocery store in the whole town. Like if you're in a rural town, please leave a comment and like explain to me the ethos, I suppose, or like the state of mind one has to be in to really deal with the isolation and the lack of things, right? Like, how do you deal with that? Is it something you have to be used to, or can like somebody transition into this kind of a lifestyle? Because I fear that if you're somebody that grew up in a city like me, you just don't know how to go back to a more simple life. You don't know how to deal with it. You know, I had like a squirrel stuck in my chimney because like the chimney vent or whatever, it like some sort of animal got stuck in there. And so I tried to call animal control, right? That's what you do. They sent me a cop. I was like, dude, I don't need a cop like shooting the squirrel or whatever in my, like, I don't need to repeat the peanut incident. What a tragedy. But you know, you just kind of, you're like, you're sending a cop out here? Bro, So I just find that kind of odd. One thing I've been finding on the internet that I think is like really funny though is oh, I can't even show it. All right. Well, I wanted to show you guys Love on the Spectrum because it's just a show I've been really enjoying lately, and I haven't really had time to watch TV, but in particular, I've been enjoying that from what I have been able to watch, and it's just good. It's just heartwarming. We need that sometimes. I'm not ready for the holidays to come up. I'm a little nervous for that. Because everything's so different in my life right now, and I don't really know what anything is. I'm in this very like transitionary period where I don't know. So I'm just not ready for that. So I'll just hold on to my crystals instead and hope and pray for the best. What else can we do? What else can we do? I'm trying to pull up some videos here, but my little ATEM thing has just frozen on me. So I'm wondering if I should just like, maybe if I do this. Hold on, wait. No, that didn't work. Okay, wait. That's really annoying. I guess that's not going to work. So we're just going to talk. Yeah, I guess we could talk about Zoran winning. I think it's promising. People are always like, I don't know where you stand politically. I don't really know what it is you think. Well, it's like good. It's not really like, I'm not trying to have some standard issue, like run-of-the-mill political opinion that it makes perfect cohesive sense based off of like what party's doctrine you subscribe to, or like what weird fringe element of the left or the right that you subscribe to. Like I'm kind of all over the place, and I know some people are like, you're a groyper, and it's like, well, whatever, dude. There's a lot that I agree with. There's some stuff I disagree with, certainly, but I think we can all kind of get together behind a common cause and say like Israel is a net negative for the United States. And if we can't all do that, then I don't know what it is that you even have in common with other Americans who are like about America. Like I'm about America. I like America. I live here, and I complain about where I am right now, but I'm so grateful that I'm in America. I love it. And do we have issues? Certainly, but this is a great country. And I'm so lucky and grateful and blessed to be here. So that's my attitude about it. And at the same time, though, I was all about Zoran winning. Like, I like Zoran. There's a lot. He ran an incredible campaign. He's so down to earth. He's always smiling. He's jovial. He's charismatic. He's funny. He's talented. He can sing. Not that is a necessary requirement to run a city, but he seems to genuinely care about New York, and not just about leveling up his career, because he also can't be president. So that's not an ambition that's on the table. And I think that that's a good thing. Not that he wouldn't be a great president, perhaps, but the fact that that's just not even the agenda, and the agenda is like not to become some power player politician, at least not as far as we can tell. And it just seems to be like a genuine love for New York. That's really awesome. But I am also worried about one thing with him, which is where I maybe deviate from like the leftists or whatever that support him, because I really love his campaign about making New York more affordable. I think that's amazing. If he can do that, like maybe I can move to New York. I don't know. But I also am very, very concerned about the crime in New York. And I don't know that he's going to do anything to address that. That's the one area of concern that I really do have concern about. I don't well, there's a couple others that maybe I won't get into so as to not be too controversial with you guys. But I specifically like tough on crime. I think as a country, we need to go back to that, because as a woman in a city, as much as I miss being in a city, part of me leaving the city is because I don't want to be around all that crime. Like, I don't feel safe around it, right? At the same time, you feel kind of safe and unsafe and isolated when you're in the middle of nowhere too, because you don't really have basic, infrastructure and hospitals and things that you need, grocery stores, whatever it might be. And when the power goes out around here, everyone's SOL, like they are shit out of luck. There's nothing, because the heaters turn off. There's no power. It's horrible. You have to go to a hotel if there's even one available. So it's scary too out here without that. But also the alternative is to go to a city that is kind of crime infested, and sometimes with homeless people, but sometimes with, migrants that have been let in, and like unbelievable numbers. And not that I don't feel for those people and everything that they're going through, but it's like, we have enough problems here. We have a lot of problems here, and bringing an entire group of people that we couldn't possibly support with the number of resources we have, when we have already so many Americans struggling. It also, like, I think people that are socialists really don't even realize you really undermine the labor movement when you have this open borders ideology. Because even Bernie Sanders said, open borders is a Koch brothers idea. It's a Koch brothers propaganda that you're helping to spread. It's only benefits large corporate businesses, or not even corporate businesses, but large businesses that can hire people for slave wages. And sometimes they are corporations, especially with the H-1B thing. But it's really not good for the average American person who's struggling. No matter what race you are, it has nothing to do with it. But if you're an American citizen and you're having a difficult time economically out here, well, what's not going to help is when you now have to compete for a house with a bunch of people who don't really have any history here, right? They don't have any ancestry here. And it's like, I'm the child of immigrants too. But, we really, like, growing up for me, assimilation was like, my parents were already assimilated. Like, we were very assimilated. They already spoke fluent English before they ever came to the United States. So I think like people coming in here not having any incentive to learn English, not understanding the culture, not even having the pressure to understand the culture. Like, I think there's something inherently wrong with that, especially when there's such a struggle for Americans that already live here to just have a decent quality of life. So opening up the borders to anyone and everyone and giving asylum to anyone and everyone, I just don't think it's a good idea. And I know that that's like controversial to some of you guys, but it's like when it comes to like me differing on issues with Zoran, it's like I don't necessarily know where he stands on those issues, but I am a little scared for what direction he's going to go in with that. And I don't like the images of ICE like separating families. I think that's horrible. Like, I hate who wants to see that? Like, nobody wants to see that, On the other hand, it's like you do have to kind of enforce some strict regulations about who can come in and out of this country. It's like this is not a free-for-all. It's like America only exists as a nation state and as an idea if we can actually uphold all of this. You can't really give the resources to everyone and expect things to be good for the people that already live here. It just doesn't work that way. There needs to be an emphasis of assimilation. There needs to be an emphasis on integrating cohesively with the society that's your host country. And some of the large swaths of populations that are being brought in here, like they just don't have that impulse or that incentive. And I think that really degrades and undermines the value of the nation that you're coming into if you don't have that mentality. And many of them do. And those people, hats off to them. Like, that's the right kind of immigrant. That's kind of the mentality you have. So I think people just want to call me like a bigot or whatever. And it's ironically a bunch of like white people online calling me whatever. And it's like, you have actually no idea what my stance is on this. And you have no idea where I'm coming from. And I think I actually have the most middle of the road and reasonable opinion on this. And it aligns with Bernie Sanders and some other socialists too. And many right-wing people as well. So nothing I'm saying is that crazy or offbeat. It's like you have probably been very propagandized into thinking that like literally anyone and their mothers and their fathers and their second cousins and whatever should all just move here just to have a better life rather than rebuild and rehabilitate the countries that they're coming from that are torn to shreds. It's like when every country can just kind of come here to seek asylum, it's like, well, what incentive is there to clean up the place that they came from and fix it and make it livable for the other people that live there? So there's also people that are like economic refugees. You know, it's like not everyone's escaping a war-torn country. A lot of people just like want to have a better economic life. And I completely sympathize with that 1000%. But at the same time, you can't give that right to everybody. And that has nothing to do with necessarily the crime statistics, but there are a lot of crazy criminals being let out in New York City and everywhere for that matter because of these like not tough on crime policies. That's, I guess, a separate issue, but those are the two things that I really like. I don't think I see eye to eye with Zoran. Now, the stuff that he said about the genocide in Gaza and like not that that has anything to do with running New York, but the fact that he's not going to be beholden to like a subset of people that want to control the politicians in New York, I really find that attractive in a politician. I like that he didn't take PAC money. I like that he had a grassroots movement of real people going and hustling for him and running a really phenomenal campaign that just like fills me with hope. So I have complete hope in him and I hold him to a high regard as of right now. We'll see how he runs New York City, but I think it's an interesting proposition to have somebody like him, you know, young, zillennial, millennial, and understanding, you know, the moment that we're at culturally and meeting that moment and hopefully being able to actually bring to fruition some of these ideas that he's put on the table of making New York more affordable. If he can do that, that is massive. And hopefully something happens where the crime gets a little bit more like on the Giuliani era. Like, come on, like you can't do violent crimes and be let out, but that keeps happening. There's violent criminals being let out of prisons in New York City and everywhere else. But in New York City, it's so densely populated that it really actually is highlighted. And they're getting let out of prison because of these soft on crime policies. And you see it over and over and over and over again. There's so many cases of this. Violent repeat offenders. They'll have like 14 convictions or 14 prior arrests and like they have violent criminal records and they're just being let out on the streets. It's like if you're a feminist even, or you like don't think like women should be at risk and be scared to walk outside, then these people should just be thrown behind bars. I mean, like no second chances. You don't get to fucking mug people and rob people at gunpoint and beat them up and assault people and then just get to walk free. Just because you're mentally ill or you're a drug addict. It's like that doesn't work. People should feel safe going on the subways. And I know so many girls that don't feel safe going on the subways, but they can't afford to take an Uber everywhere. And like that would very easily be me if I was living in New York. And it's somewhere I would love to live, but it's like, you know, you just don't. Last time I was there were a couple moments where like I didn't feel safe at all. And, you know, it's an amazing city. It's the greatest city on earth, in my opinion. And it's a shame that it's kind of being lost in a lot of ways to like a lot of degeneracy that's very easily preventable. Like you just keep them locked up longer. And I know that costs money and all of that, but it costs a lot more money to have investigations of murder and have like people leave the city, flee the city because they don't think it's like for them anymore. Like a lot of times these crazy kind of drug-addled people are being prioritized over like everyday citizens. And that's how it feels sometimes, especially when you're a woman and you see like the arena video of the girl on the train in North Carolina. It's like that kind of shit happens in New York all the time. Not necessarily the way that we saw it, but there's a lot of murders that happen on the New York subway system. And it's not pretty out there in the streets either. Like you can be walking through Manhattan and on one level, it's like an amazing place, right? Because New York City is like the great equalizer. Like the billionaires have to walk on the same road as like the average person. And I love that concept, right? But then on the other hand, it's like They're certainly not living the same kind of life. And I mean, I got kind of accosted last time I was there by like a crazy drug addict, and he just kind of came up and screamed at us, and it was like broad daylight in Manhattan. We're walking down the street, and you just wouldn't think that would happen, but it did. And it wasn't uncommon. The cops like knew who he was. But on one hand, it's like their hands are tied. They can't do anything because they're scared of being called like brutal policemen doing like police brutality. They're just constantly getting accused of that. Not that that doesn't exist on some level. Of course, police brutality exists. But, you know, you can't have cops standing around and they have nothing. They have no job that they can do because their hands are tied. A lot of the times that's the case. And it's not just in New York, but it is especially in New York. So I hope that Zoran is able to deliver on affordability, obviously, but also on the crime. I think like, you know, having things be affordable is great, but it's like, really, what's the point if nobody can feel safe? And so I hope that that's what happens. But I have a lot of hope in him. I encouraged people to vote for him. I don't live in New York, but if I did, he would have had my vote easy. I think he's a fantastic candidate and he has a good heart. And having a good heart is not the only thing that matters, unfortunately, in politics. But I think he's going to have the energy and the bandwidth and the support behind him to really deliver on some stuff. So I'm very hopeful about him. And I just, you know, I am a little freaked out about the crime in New York. That is like one thing that I'm just like there's like massive hotels just being filled with some unsavory characters right now. And it's better than them being on the streets for sure. I'm not saying they should be on the streets at all, but you know, some of the violent repeat offenders that are being let out of prison, it kind of like when you really look into it, which I have, because at first I thought people were being dramatic. You know, I have friends that live in New York and I've talked to them about it and they're like, dude, yeah, violent offenders get let out of prison constantly. Like they don't stay in jail. So it's like there's really very little incentive for them not to commit crimes because it's a slap on the wrist and they're just let out and they're able to commit. Basically, it's like until you murder someone, you're kind of good. And then also sometimes if you do murder someone, you'll still get paroled. But usually like that's what it takes for you to be locked up for a good amount of time. And unfortunately, it's like if you can pull off the insanity argument, which so many people can, then it's like you're not guilty at all, right? But then they're not going to keep you in a loony bin forever either. So it's messed up because New York is just such an incredible place. And I'm not saying like the entire place is just rampant with crime. I'm sure like for the most part it's fine. But even those few instances, it's like when it's too many. And when it happens to you, and it's like it did happen to me a few times where like there was like some instances where I just was like once in Greenwich Village on McDougal Street too, which is like a really busy street in Greenwich Village where the Comedy Cellar is. And it was actually out very close to the Comedy Cellar. And they're just like, and I think somebody at the Comedy Cellar got like really badly assaulted. So shit's just been popping off in New York City. And, you know, I'm not saying it's like the 80s, but it's like, I don't really know what it was like in the 80s, but this can't be that different, right? Like, obviously we're not old enough to compare it to that, but like they talk about New York in the 80s being this like nightmarish time. And it's like, I don't know if this is comparable, but it's starting to feel a little purge-like in a lot of these cities. It's certainly in LA, it's starting to feel like that. And last time I was there, I was just kind of like, I get that it's kind of always seedy because LA just, like I was talking about earlier, has that perfect weather that just makes it so desirable. But it's difficult when you're just like a girl that wants to walk around and you can't. Like that's off limits for you. And it's like here where I am, you know, I can have, never mind, I'm not going to talk about weapons, but you know. And it's like I've been going shooting and practicing shooting a lot and I'm getting pretty good and I am enjoying it a lot. It's been a really good replacement for weed because, you know, you got to get your dopamine in somehow, and there's not a lot to do out here, but luckily there's a shooting range, you know, 45 minutes away that I'm able to get to sometimes and practice, and I'm doing really good. But it's difficult because it's like in New York City, you can't really have guns, and that's probably for the best because of how densely populated it is. But it doesn't portend well in it's just kind of scary when you see some of like the cyberpunk, like not in a good way, type images coming out of there. And it's unsettling. It's just unsettling. And I know for dudes, it's probably easier, especially like these like liberal Reddit guys that are just like, such a bigot. It's like, you're not a woman. Like, you don't actually understand what it's like to be afraid. And you don't always have like a male with you, right? So it's sometimes you just want to walk around. And when you get accosted like that by people and you get approached by some unsavory characters, it is a deeply, deeply unsettling and scary feeling. So it's like, on one hand, you want to be safe because, you want to be in a city where there's infrastructure and there's things around you and there's cops and there's hospitals and there's facilities, But on the other hand, it's like there's so many people that you don't feel like you matter. You're just a statistic. And yeah, so it's kind of a gray area that's a little difficult to parse through. But I like Zoran a lot. Every clip I've seen of him, he was fantastic on The View, which is such a garbage show. God. He's just so good in interviews. He was good in the debate. He is just fantastic. He seems to have a lot of integrity. I'm really putting my faith in him, and I hope he delivers. And I think he will. I think even just the idea that he's so young and has all this energy it can't be understated how important that is. That is a trend that needs to continue across all of the political arenas that we have. Midterm elections, presidency. We need younger people that have a stake in the game. If you're going to die in 20 years, you probably don't give too much of a shit what happens to this country. Some, I'm not saying all. Like, Richard, I know if you're listening, I know you care. And I know there's a lot of great people out there that do care, but it's difficult to put faith in somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who's like 85 years old. All she wants to do is make money from stocks. And it's like, girlie, go home and eat your ice cream and like chill. You don't need to run the country. And she's technically not, I guess, but she's still, I think, pulling strings for the Democratic Party. So I just want things to work out. I want things to prosper in this country. And I just think that the Trump presidency has just been such an abysmal and colossal failure. And very few people on the right are willing to criticize him. And then the ones that are willing to criticize him, they're getting criticized for criticizing him. And they're getting criticized for, I don't know, a menu of reasons, some of which might have some valid points, but most of them are just like talking points that are just like people that are supporting Israel that have a problem. And then on the left, it's just like there's some good moments, there's some glimmers of hope like Zoran, but overall, it's also just it's less promising to me. And it seems like they have to import their voters because they don't really have many voters right now. So they have to bring them in from a bunch of places around the world that aren't doing so well, because it's like, who's going to vote for you? So that arena is looking a little bleak, but trying to learn about finances. I'm trying to learn about asset-backed securities and pensions and Social Security and EFTs and high yield, low yield savings and LBOs and acquisitions. I'm trying to just become a little bit more financially literate because I am an adult and these are things I'm going to have to understand on some level. So going forward in my life, and there's kind of like a car crisis going on where it's really actually really funny because these guys that, you can sell a car loan to someone who is not even a legal citizen of the United States. And then those loans get bundled up and they end up being like a pension fund for like a teachers union. And these are loans from illegal immigrants that oftentimes get sent back. And so they're going to default on the loan. And so that means that the pension's going to get defaulted on. And it's just such a weird way that we do business in this country, where your pensions and your 401ks often and your Roth IRA, like these are things that are getting, maybe not the Roths, I'm not sure about that, but the pensions a lot of times it's all risky. It's all just risky. Like if your pensions are being funded by like asset-backed securities, especially from people in like underprivileged communities that are certainly not going to pay these loans, you're screwing with people. Like, it's just funny. I think I'm going to short the car market. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I'm playing with my crystals. It still feels like Halloween-y around here, and I like it. It's a little spooktastic. I know we're in November now, but happy 11/11. All of this will come out afterwards. But yeah, they're called like community development financial institutions, where you know that the government it's backed by the US Treasury. And it's like, you know that the government isn't just giving these underprivileged, often undocumented or illegal immigrants these car loans out of the kindness of their hearts. It certainly stands to benefit somebody, right? And I looked it up. Of course it does. And, you know, it's just power players making more money, and like they're fucking with the teachers' pensions, and it's just so bad, dude. And it's like, the inflation is so bad that you don't just want to like save your money. Of course you want to save your money, but your money's losing value all the time, every day. You want to invest it in something, but you also don't know what to invest it in. Like bonds seem to be like the safest thing, but nothing really makes sense. And it's like, buy gold. But it's like, what does anything mean? I don't understand all this stuff. I'm just a girl, but I'm trying. I am trying my best. On the other episode I talked about the Riyadh Comedy Festival and my thoughts on that, which I think a lot of people won't like, but I think a lot of people will. I think my take on that, people might hate me for that, but I don't really care. I said it, but I did kind of go off a little bit, so I think I have to keep that for the Patreon, and went a little against, I don't know, I guess what a lot of people I've seen are saying, which is just like, whatever, like such disappointment. But who else? So Zoran's promising. Graham Plattner seems cool. I like him a lot. Again, I disagree with him on a few things, but I like him a lot. And I might even be able to get him on the show, actually, Graham Plattner. I'm trying to get away from politics, but at the same time, you know, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. All right, guys. Oh, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys, since I'm not smoking weed anymore, which is absolutely a tragedy, and every day it gets a little easier, but also it doesn't. I miss it so much. I miss so many things so much. What a strange time in my life. What I have been taking for sleep, I really recommend you guys try it if you have like difficulty sleeping, which I certainly do. Valerian root. Hashtag not sponsored. Obviously, I don't have a sponsor. If somebody wants to sponsor me for the valerian root, I have been loving it. I've been actually taking the Wild Harvest one. Not sponsored. I obviously just like, I wish they'd sponsor me. What is it? Wild Harvest. I love that brand because it's all no, it's not Wild Harvest. It's like from this Oregon. Yeah, it is Wild Harvest. Oregon's Wild Harvest. That's the brand. Made in the USA. Love that. Organic ingredients. I take 2 of the pills. They smell so bad. Okay. They smell like ass. Even if you like touch the capsule, your hand kind of smells like that. But it is a body high, which is what I miss most about the weed. So this is about as close as I've been able to get to that feeling is valerian root. And it's nothing like it. Obviously it's not going to be like THC, but man, is it nice. So I have like this cocktail, right, before I go to sleep. It's like magnesium glycinate, NaC, L-theanine, 2 valerian root. What else? I was taking glycine for a minute there. I'm not taking it right now. That's a crazy amount of supplements you might. Oh, and ashwagandha I've started on again too. Damn. I've replaced weed with like 1,000 nootropics and it's still not doing it. And shooting. The shooting the guns, that's doing it. That is doing it for me. But it's tough because nothing is like weed, really. And I'll never try cigarettes. I'll never touch nicotine. I don't care about that. That's not for me. I don't want to get addicted to that. Luckily, like quitting weed was kind of an easy process. Like it wasn't even a process. I just quit. It's like, whatever. It sucks, but I don't have like this itch, right? Like I know like people that have quit smoking cigarettes. It is a battle. It is a battle against a demon. And I can't really relate to that experience. For me, it's just kind of like a flattening, the anhedonia, the flattening of the feelings. There's no like, during the day, it's great because you stay busy all the time. But at night, when things start to wind down, you just kind of get in your feelings and you kind of get like a little bummed out. And the weed is really like a great antidote for that. But I don't have that to cut it with anymore. But it's not like this addictive, like, when I've seen people quit cigarettes, it is a struggle. They got to get on the patch. They have like the oral fixation. So they have to like, replace the cigarette with a lollipop or something like a stick. And they always miss it and they're always thinking about it. And it has like the stranglehold over them that weed had on me in a different way, where it was just like, it wasn't a constant smoking, but it was like, just like that one hit. I miss it a lot, but it's not like that itch where you need it so bad. What is it? What did they call with the chasing the dragon? I don't think it's quite that with weed, but I know it's like that with cigarettes, right? Or maybe they say that about any addiction. I don't really know. But weed was just so good because, you always felt like you were in control for the most part. Until you're not, I guess, but it's not like alcohol where you're just like a complete degenerate and you have zero redeeming qualities and you become a burden and a nuisance to everyone around you and a danger. Lord knows you can't drive or operate heavy machinery or do fucking anything worth anything when you're drunk. And what's even worse than being a drunk is like having a high tolerance to alcohol, because then you're just like, dude, are you all right? Like, why are you able to have like 7 drinks and stand up straight? Something's going on. Let's get your liver enzymes checked. But drinking culture just always reigns supreme in the US. It really just brings down the country, I think. Everyone's kind of fat. So I hope that changes. It's like I say this after I had McDonald's tonight, but it's like there's nothing else out here and I don't want to cook every day all the time, especially when I don't have a gas stove to cook it on. And I don't want to complain. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate. It's just kind of, you realize your environment is so much of your joy. And when it's like taken from you, you just have like a different attitude. Yeah. But I love New England. I really do. I complain a lot, but it's a wonderful place with wonderful people. And they're much tougher out here and much more resilient. All the men know how to fix stuff. They're all handy, right? You don't have too many femboys out here. The men out here are men. Now the women out here are also men. Like the women out here are like Vikings, dude. They're like cutting down trees and shit. They're like genuine. I don't know. I can't compete. The women out here are they're like wrestlers. They all have like a ribeye as a foot. They're always ready to fight. They're beastly. They're yeah. They all look at me like I'm some sort of Tinkerbell type bitch, and they're like, they can like carry these 40-pound water bottles everywhere and throw it behind their back and like shovel the snow, and they're down in the nitty gritty. I just can't relate to that at all. But I respect them. I respect all the people out here that are able to deal with the elements and like deal with like the bears and stuff in their backyards, which I really think that would be sweet. It would be like the Tony Soprano scene, or not the Tony Soprano. It was like in The Sopranos when Carmela had to get the gun because the bear was there and AJ was freaking out. What an amazing scene. And that was in New Jersey. There's bears there, and it's like the most densely populated state in the US. So people are telling me that I like love on the spectrum because I'm autistic. It's like, I don't think I'm autistic, but thank you. Okay. That sounded kind of autistic though. I'm sitting here rubbing a crystal in the middle of nowhere. Do you guys like my massive pumpkin? It just makes me so happy. I like touching it. I love it. What a good boy. I'm going insane. Just rubbing my pumpkin. It's so smooth. I don't know what kind of pumpkin this is. I like its shape. It's a little unconventional. I like this one a lot too. It's so nice. See that? And this one, this ornamental one, definitely not edible, but I was trying to cover up the wires. Some cute stuff. And then this one too, a little different, right? We don't even know what this is. It's a gourd. I believe this is a gourd. And I don't even know why I have these coloring books, but I just thought they looked cool. And they're Christmas themed, so, or fall themed, I don't know. But this pumpkin, you guys, is just, it's so cool. I love it. So hard. I think it's edible too. Like at the end of this, I had a deer out here completely demolish a pumpkin. I put a pumpkin out front in the house. A deer just came and chomped it off, just ate the whole thing. Seeds and everything. Insane. I've always put a pumpkin in front of the house around like Halloween or whatever. It ate the whole fucking, like just chomped the whole thing. There was just like a weird skin left at the end of it. Insanity. But so I brought her home. I replaced her. I got her at Trader Joe's that I had to drive 45 minutes to. I know you guys are like thinking like what a stupid, like I know I'm complaining about stupid things, but you know, it is your time after all. Like driving 45 minutes to a Trader Joe's, it's like by the time you get home, your fish is like probably gone bad. And because when you go into town, you know, you got to go into town. You got to do everything. You can't just go to Trader Joe's. You got to knock out all the errands on one day because it's like you don't want to fucking drive 45 minutes every time you got to go do something. God, how do people do this shit? Honestly, how do people do this for years and have like happy lives? And I know I'm like, maybe there's something wrong with me. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, yes, there's something wrong with you. But it's also like, there's a reason metropolitan areas exist. Like, why do all those people go to the same place? Because there's more opportunity, right? And where there's more opportunity, there's room for economic growth. People build, people create things, right? There's communities. They organize, they create big, tall buildings. It's like the peak of humanity. In my opinion, it is the peak of civilization. And I know there's different peaks of civilization, but I think one of them is the big, tall skyscrapers and the fact that we can build vertically too. And we can have like city planners and facilities built. And if anything goes wrong, there's like a hospital and a train station, a police station and a prison if you need to lock people up. And there's like a system. And I know that the bureaucracy sucks, but like sometimes it's good to have that because it's like there's a little bit of of some order, or at least an illusion of order, right? And here it's like I got my pumpkin, but I'm surrounded by like trees and bears and deer and snow. I've already talked about this. I'm just kind of going on and on and on at this point, but yeah, turn the notifications on, you guys, for when I live stream, because I'm not going to probably announce it when I do it. Last time I did it, I was just testing it out, and then I ended up live streaming for 2 hours. And it was fun. I got to talk to a lot of you guys on there, but I would like to do that again. I will do that again, but I don't always know what I'm going to do it. And sometimes I just like to like go on there randomly. And yeah, so I would appreciate it. Join the Patreon, please. There will be a new episode up, probably the one where I kind of go in on some of the people complaining about the Riyadh Comedy Festival or whatever, and some other stuff that maybe I shouldn't say publicly. So that was going to be the public episode, but I don't think I should post that publicly. And yeah, I think what did I even talk about on there? I talked about Marin too, my interaction with Marin. And yeah, that'll be on the Patreon. And I'll probably put the first live stream I did up on the Patreon too. So that'll be on there before this goes out. So that way you guys can have more content up on there, and follow me on TikTok. Okay. I live stream on there sometimes too. And follow me on Twitter or X. Okay. /TheIdeHour with 2 R's, and on Instagram, Ida Tavs, TAVS. And I know it seems stupid to like plug myself, but some of you guys like watch me on here, but you like don't follow me on socials, which is wrong actually. And I don't like that. I love the Tucker laugh. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, sorry, that was random. So random. Yeah, so follow me on those different various platforms. Oh, please subscribe to the show on Apple and Spotify and give me like a nice rating. I would appreciate that too. That would rule. But really join the Patreon. Okay, yeah. All right. Good night, folks. And good luck.